Yo, people, what's up? This your boy John, ColderICE.com. And you know what? I haven't had a good, hot topic to really get into some juicy for a video in a while. So I haven't made a video in a while. It's been a couple of weeks. And today, yay! I actually got a great topic that really required me, I felt, to actually make a video on this one so I could really get down to or be able to communicate exactly what I was seeing and what I was feeling at the time. So that's what I'm doing. And today is Wednesday, August 26th, right? And here's the deal. eBay Ink blog. eBay Ink blog, written by a man that I have utmost respect for, Richard Brewer Hay, has a post out, and here's one of the reasons why I have so much respect for Richard is because he knows what he knows and he knows what he doesn't know, and he makes very clear the things he doesn't know. And one of the things he made very clear when he started this eBay Ink blog thing was that he didn't know, quote, eBay, buying, selling from that perspective. He was very much an external eye. So today he writes a story and we're going to look at it. But I want to preface this with the understanding that I have for what Richard kind of knows internally because he works there, and then what he kind of doesn't know because externally he's not an actual seller on the platform. So that'll give you or that'll at least set the tone and the stage for what I want to say here. And another thing I'm going to try to do, and I might not do this very well, I might not be successful at all at this, is because I'm very animated oftentimes in my arguments and in the way I speak. I might, I get kind of emotional, but I don't want that to come across as any kind of diatribe. Really, I really want to try to make this almost as unemotional, intellectual thinking here as I possibly can. But I probably will fail miserably. All right, so let's go into this, all right? And remember, my perspective, of course, I'm always coming from, I'm an eBay seller, and that's what I do. So let's get down to the basics here. The story comes out, all right? And it says, the title is Bidding on eBay, a sometimes odd but always serious business. Well, you got me right there. It's definitely odd and it's always serious. So I'll get with you on that one. So let's delve into this, okay? Longtime readers of Inkblog know, this is Richard Brewer Hay talking, that I tend to stay away from individual auctions or specific sales on the eBay marketplace, focusing more on trends in the industry and news coming out of the company as a whole. However, yesterday, two auctions that were unusual enough to capture the attention of national and even international media came to a close. On the surface, it was just a normal Tuesday in the eBay marketplace. What made the day stand out was not the similarities between the, pardon the pun, cradle-to-the-grave auctions. Sadly, what stood out was the fact that people bid on items for which they had no intention of buying, sometimes, or something that undermines the very integrity of the marketplace. Okay, let's stop right there. So here's what happened. There were two auctions. One was an auction where a lady was going to name her unborn child, and she ran an auction to auction off the name. You win the auction, you get to name the baby. The other one was a auction for Marilyn Monroe's the grave above hers, or the tomb above hers, has a body in it, and the widow of the man in that tomb is going to remove his body and put that tomb up for auction on eBay. So two very unique auctions. So since these auctions were so unique, Richard decided, or eBay Ink blog decided, that they were going to address these two issues individually where normally they don't do that. And so this gives us great insight, and that's why I want to address it as well. So what happened was both of those auctions ended with very high numbers. I believe the cradle auction ended at like $4,600 to name this child of this unborn, this unborn child of this woman. The grave auction ended at $4.6 million for the Marilyn Monroe tomb above her actual gravesite. And I mean, that made big news, right? So here's the deal, is that neither one of these auctions ended with a paid bidder. Now, he says that in his story, he's saying something that undermines the very integrity of the marketplace. See, that's very key, because it does undermine the very integrity of this marketplace known as eBay. However, the deal is that it's constantly been undermining the marketplace of eBay. It's been a constant pain in the ass. That's not a cuss word anymore, so I can say it. It's been a pain in the ass for pretty much any regular seller on the platform, yet rarely addressed, rarely found a positive solution towards a problem that probably could be easily resolved. So because of the huge nature of these two unique individual auctions, eBay has actually taken the time in this eBay Inc. blog space to address this. So now we're going to address how they addressed it. And this is what makes this story such an important one that I felt needed to be addressed line by line. So let's continue digging in. eBay, it says, has no tolerance for this sort of behavior. Two high bidders in this auctions have been banned for life from eBay, and because of placing a bid enters into a legal agreement with someone, binding contract, the consequences may not even end there. All right, so let's deal with this. See, the deal is that these specific auctions, eBay set a precedence, and that's, I think, possibly the danger zone that I have to call them on. And the reason why I have to call them on is because just because these auctions were so high profile, eBay has taken a huge step, and they have banned these people for life for non-paying bidders. And here's the deal, is that any regular eBay seller on the platform, they could go back right now. I could go back in my history right now of all the unpaid items and all the reports, because I report all of them, that I have of people on there, and a very small percentage of those people will actually have been banned from eBay for simply bidding on my maybe low cost, low noticeable to the media, but since this was such a high profile case, eBay has gone over and above normal procedures and banned these people for life. So I find that very precedent setting. eBay, if this activity undermines your marketplace, if this activity is so bad that eBay has no tolerance for this kind of activity, then why